Hey guys, so you might be holding some quantum AI stocks, and if you've been holding for the long term, let's say you got a good entry, right now you're probably doing okay. However, if you just got into some quantum stocks or some AI stocks or any stocks for that matter, you might not really like what you're seeing in the market. And I want to talk about something that a lot of people, obviously are going to say whenever we have these corrections. Are we about to see a crash? This is a bubble. Well, yes and yes. Because if that happens, regardless of if that happens or not, nothing is going to change the fact, guys, that you just want to own assets. Because what we're in, guys, is a melt up. Yes, will it correct? Yes, will it go down? Most likely, of course. That's how it always works. Now, do I think that it's about to pop? No, I think we're doing okay in this bubble. And the reason why I say that and why I believe it's going to continue up, it has to do with a few things. The first thing that we can look at is, and it really comes down to three things. The first thing is the Fed and the Fed announcement. We saw back in December, I think it was 15th, that we saw a pretty big market correction after the Fed announced that they were going to have less interest rate cuts than what was anticipated. But the thing is it this economy and what we're in, most likely, if we have high interest rates for a long time, we most likely will see that would drastically affect the economy and make it harder for the US government because of the debt that they have. Now, if they keep the amount that they have to pay for debt higher and these interest rates higher, it's actually going to make it harder on them. So we're not going to see, I believe, a very sustained long period of time of high interest rates. And they say two interest rate cuts now. That's what happened the first time. Job reports were looking better quarter over quarter. The economy was starting to recover here, and they kind of shocked us with this, oh, we're not going to cut rates as fast. But that is something that would most likely yield a V-shape pattern, kind of like we saw right here. I mean, V-shape patterns are quite common, and we're most likely going to see that here with the overall market. Now, how long or how short it's going to be, I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you is that this first piece of the Fed uh, is simply going to be short-term volatile and long-term positive, if that makes sense. And when I say positive, I don't necessarily mean positive in the implications. Yes, positive in the US dollars, basically your stocks and your assets becoming worth more, not necessarily your US dollars becoming worth more. And that brings us to the second point. So a lot of people, they tell me like, uh, I'm really looking forward to quantum AI. We think it's going to be massive, and we're looking at a lot of great stocks in the quantum AI space. Quantum computing is going to be big, but maybe it's a bubble. Maybe a lot of these are going to sell off. Well, I can tell you again, everything is a bubble here, but the reality is these things are going to be innovative. They're going to improve, and they're only going to grow and become more popular. And I believe quantum AI is absolutely going to see year over year growth. And if there was ever a time that quantum computers were going to see exponentially massive growth, it would be here in 2025 as AI has surpassed human intelligence and reached a point where we're close to AGI, which means we're getting to a point where AI is going to change a lot of how the human it is already changing how the economy is, how the human race works. So like we are seeing it change everything, and it's going to be even bigger here in 2025. So I think the quantum computing space is going to be catching up or continuing to grow regardless. However, what we could see is long-term melt up, short-term volatility, but long-term melt up. In other words, I believe, I mean, we could look at the assets, you could look at inflation increasing massively. You can look at uh, the market of all the stock markets, all the assets, their prices shooting up. Okay, and part of that is because the U.S. dollar is becoming less valuable, and a big catalyst for that has to do with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and decentralization and lack of control in how much money they're spending, they're printing, and how they are monitoring where money is going and how it's being spent in the government, where it's being spent. And that is one of the things that right now they're keeping interest rates high. They're trying to preserve, hey, the US dollar is valuable. And look, it's backed by a US economy with a lot of value, a lot of trust, a lot of military, a lot of these things. But we have to say, hey, when we see an asset that's outperforming the market like Bitcoin, that's getting more trust, that people are transacting and sending value from each other, the US dollar will be affected. And that's what we're seeing here. So, and guys, share your thoughts below. Maybe maybe we see things differently, and I would love to hear your comments. And what I could tell you guys is that we will see some short-term volatility. Of course, we can look at the technicals. Maybe this is a sell-off. This is going to be that previous resistance on the widespread market, this previous support, and it will bounce, and then we'll enter 2025 in a bull market, and we'll continue. But if it breaks, down here below 585 on SPY, then we could start to see what would be much more of a sell-off. And we could see it maybe even touch going back down to this moving average, which we've seen happen quite often. It does happen in the market. So regardless, even when the widespread market was going down the past 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, see how much was it? I don't want to misquote. Really started going down right here. 24 days, we are about 3.5% negative on the last 24 days. So 22 days, sorry. So during that time, we could look at a lot of these quantum AI computing companies. And I think during this movement, now we see them down today, but I think that we will see a widespread surge. I mean, this is what the last few weeks looks like for quantum AI. I mean, we could look at the same time period, all quantum AI stocks like Rigetti, that has cloud computing enabled on AWS for using their quantum computing units through the cloud. That's available. You see that with Ionic as well. Ionic's a stock that has really gone up tremendously. And then we also see some of the stocks like QBTS as well, right? And we got D-Wave in there. And so these are stocks that are continuing up while the widespread market was selling off. So that's something to note. A lot of times when you have an explosive sector, it's not going to necessarily be 100% correlated with the market. Will it most likely be affected? Yes. If we see a big sell-off in the widespread market, it can definitely drag down most sectors. But that's something that I just wanted to bring to your attention. It's possible, it mimics and it's pretty close to the S&P, but it's also possible that the quantum AI space, a lot of these tech companies that are in the forefront of AI and space exploration, that we might continue to see some growth there, just because if you think about the companies that are potentially investing in these tech companies or in these computing companies, for example, Rigetti, that has BlackRock, but yes, it's got the big State Street and all that, but they also have, you could look at NVIDIA as a big investor in the company as well. And so, those are companies that are big tech that are, regardless of even the economy was maybe down 2022, and you still see massive explosive growth in NVIDIA and in those tech companies because they're building the infrastructure for this AI boom. So you have to consider those things as well. A lot of changes, a lot of differences, but don't be scared in a market sell-off. Like I said, if you're long-term, you definitely have nothing to worry about. It's going to be more or less a V-shaped. We'll see a recovery. I don't know exactly when, but we will. And then, in the longer term, again, buying assets, buying real estate, buying gold, buying crypto, buying companies that you believe will prosper during this time are one of the best ways to preserve your capital. And yes, it's a bubble. Yes, we've already established that. But unfortunately, the way that it's looking, if you're not in assets, you could potentially be left behind. So keep that in mind as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all. We just went live this morning. Didn't have a profitable day today so far. I think we're down about 300, or I guess $260, sorry, on the day so far. We averaged around 10% growth per day actually last week, which was a tremendous week for quantum AI. But you could see here there was a cooler stock. This is a company that works with SpaceX. They provide the batteries for what's going to be the new mission launching in 2026 for SpaceX. You also have them working with Navy, Army, Department of Defense, among others, drone technology, AI, working with batteries at a cellular level. Pretty cool stuff. But anyway, they sold off today down to $3.30, and I was trying to get in there. I waited for a more confirmation before buying in here at $3.50. However, they continue down. They're still down. They're consolidating a little bit. The reason I haven't sold is because we're at this previous resistance. So if they're going to continue this bull up, this previous resistance, see that guy and that support. So that's something to look out for, that we could potentially see that it's a dip. So anything in SPY, if you're long term, just keep buying the dip. If you're able to play some of the dips, all power to you. But we've had to we've seen some great opportunities in the markets. So if you want to see when those opportunities present themselves, I would encourage you to check out that second link down below. That's StockMe. For those of you guys that want to watch me trade live every day, surround yourself with other investors and traders. One thing we just did inside of our StockMe community is you can look on Sunday. I actually posted here in Sunday that we're holding cautionary targets for AI, quantum, and space. And we have these fairly bearish targets for all these stocks. I mean, short-term cautionary target that we posted on Sunday for Rigetti stock was actually 1450, and I don't know what Rigetti's at right now. Let's see. There it is. Rigetti is at 1560, so maybe it sells off even more according to my targets that I put in here at the beginning of the week. But you guys could see those targets. You could see a lot more, including some books. We just got this book out if you'd like to check it out. For example, profitable trader mindsets and how to approach the market as someone that is profitable versus an ordinary mindset, and how you can potentially gain more profits and growth by buying assets smart in this market. So that sounds like something you're interested in. Again, got a sale till the end of this year, $150 off StockMe at second link down below. And can it get sweeter than if AMD stock hits $160 a share by March 20th, then you get StockMe for free with our current sale. So right now, you could look at AMD stock, take a look at it. It's at this support right now. All it has to do is this bounce right here up to 160, and you get StockMe free with our current sale. And conditions apply. Make sure to check the page on the website. Thanks again for watching. Hopefully I earned your thumbs up, guys. Do subscribe. We're on the last day of the year, and we're almost to 10,000 subscribers. It's just crazy because we set our goal at 10,000 at the beginning of the year, and we have less than 12 hours to hit it. So subscribe if you guys are new. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.